What's up, Wanna Coffee fam? It's Kai, and we are back, kicking off season 2, and things have slightly changed for us. We will have weekly contributions from strangers all over the world discussing various topics chosen by yours truly. And this is the first time these contributors have spoken to one another, so you are in for a real treat. Without further ado, here's Chris and Alex with cancel culture?
Right, so I'm recording and I'll hit the timer. Okay, so cancel culture. Should we cancel culture?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I think that we should reevaluate cancel culture. I think that if it is an actual culture, let's look into it and see what makes it a culture. Is it literally just jumping on a bandwagon and saying no and attacking everybody?
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, who does it actually affect? Because if you look at the celebrities that have been canceled, like, okay, J.K. Rowling was canceled. But okay, she's too big and too rich to be canceled, really. Like,
She really is.
It's not affecting her life. So, like, okay, so we can cancel celebrities all we want, but is it changing anything? Like, okay, yeah, maybe we're ruining their platform or giving them more publicity. There's no such thing as bad press.
Very, very true. But I don't know. It's kind of hard because I guess you have to think of both extremes because who has been canceled? Like I, I think I guess maybe I'm trying to think of all the newbies and I don't know, I feel old, but I don't know a lot of the makeup aspects and of those cancel culture. But immediately I'm like, okay, like the Dixie Chicks, everybody hated on them immediately. And that was a long time ago. But that's kind of my definition of when everybody just goes immediately oh my God, I hate you. Let's burn things. That's I hate you. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So then I'm like, yeah, I 100% agree. No publicity is bad publicity. But at the same time, I guess the severity of it can essentially be negative and hard to come back out of.
Yeah. Um, and sometimes I wonder, um, how is this kind of like a dangerous thing where we turn on people so fast? Because I mean, I teach the Crucible to juniors, so we talk about the Salem witch trials, obviously, and we relate it to cancel culture and how that clearly spiraled out of control.
That is such a cool rant, obviously mad props to you because that is such a cool little tangent. I never got to, when I did the Crucible, we didn't do that, and I love that that's now something to talk about. Such a great way to relate. Literature. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed.
So are we doing the
Literature.
2021 witch hunt?
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is. That's literally, this is a new evolved version of taking our pitchforks and going to the beast's house and killing him. This is that. This is what we are doing. We are immediately causing these people to be, microscoped at and looked at and judged and literally, who are we? Who am I? I wish people, instead of attacking and immediately branding someone as canceled, I wish we would get this excited or this on the bandwagon for positive things, or instead of attacking oh my gosh, this person hates so much on trans people, let's start a trans positive thing. Let's oh my gosh, this person, oh, look at them, let's take a picture of them using plastic straws everywhere they go, they're horrible, canceled. No, why don't we instead promote something that uses straws as this? I don't know. I just wish, I guess random. I just wish that instead of immediately being so negative and attacking and forcing people to do something, why not just force a better habit?
Yeah. And then also, where's the line? Because I mean, I'm sure there's times I mean, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not famous or anything, but I'm sure there's times where I've said things that are out of pocket or out of line. And and people have called me on it. And then where I don't recognize it as offensive, part of my growth in life is I'm like, okay, just because it's not offensive to me doesn't mean it's not offensive. And you apologize and you grow and you do better. And I understand that even though you apologized and you changed and you can't take back the hurt. And I understand that with that part of cancel culture where it's still like people are like, I can't forgive that. And I'm still just
Awesome.
still canceled to me. But where's the line? Because people do grow, people do change, people are capable of change and learning. And maybe that's the educator in me where it's giving people the benefit of the doubt. And there's certainly people that don't deserve it. I'll give them that. Like there's definitely hateful, horrible, misogynistic, racist, homophobic people that absolutely deserve to not have a platform. But I think sometimes people take it to an extreme when somebody was like, oh, this is funny. And then other people are like, it's not. And then they apologize and they try to do better and be better.
Exactly. I think we need to start, we as a culture, we as the cancel culture, instead of highlighting the aspect of canceling, we should rebrand the culture to be making it better. Just like instead of, okay, Paula Deen is canceled, right? Paula Deen, yeah. Instead of like cancel Paula Deen, okay, it's like, okay, let's make sure that all of her money goes to, anti-plantation shit, like let's make sure her money goes to everything, I don't know, everything that supports everything that she was against. Or anybody like that. I'm trying. I guess I'm trying to generalize more so than I should. But at the end of the day, I think that we should rebrand the canceling aspect and just go to pushing. Okay, look at that. She is now doing this, and let's try and make sure that that money goes to something, fund something better.
Yeah. And then like, and you just see and like a lot of cancel culture is digging into people's like their past social media. Okay, like if you go back to my social media, like I probably just said some like legitimately nonsense, like, oh, 8 scrambled eggs. You're probably not going to find anything racist, homophobic, misogynistic on anything of mine. But then again, what are we going to find if we look at everybody's social media? Like
100, like, especially, I feel that I'm like trying to think back. I'm sure I've said something racist or that could come across as racist against white people. Just, commenting on Karens or commenting on a situation that happened in the news. So I'm sure, and you look at that like, oh my gosh, what does that make me? It's like, no, I was, being pop culture current. But at the same time, that's what people are drudging up, like you're saying. That's what we're microscoping. So then what? Should we just never say anything? Literally, it's like being around sensitive people. You can't ever like feel comfortable because I'm not sensitive people. I guess that was wrong. Being around people that are going to combat you or take offense is really hard then to be yourself or to be spontaneous or to just be comfortable in any situation because you're always going to feel that like, okay, what can I say? What can I do?
exactly. And sometimes you feel like I mean, I know that like especially in my profession, not that like I post anything but pictures of my children, but like in my profession, like I have to be super careful like about what I say, especially I live in a small community. And I'm super liberal. So like I do kind of have to monitor what I say. Because I just don't want that to be a problem in my classroom. Like if a parent should see that and they're like, oh, well, she's spouting that in her classroom, which I'm not. Like, but the lines are blurred where it's not my personal because it's still public. And I don't want that to be an issue in my classroom. So I'm very cognizant of what I put on social media. And, I am still vocal about what I believe in. But I make sure the English teacher is writing it, that I'm very articulate, and that I'm not getting heated and saying things that people could find problematic, even on the other side of the coin, where I think we're probably both looking at like the liberal side where we're like, people are canceled because of, this especially now with this huge social justice movement we're seeing, which we need to see. But I think there's a conservative side to that too. Like I did read an article about conservative voices being silenced. And you know, if I stretch my mind, where to think, you know, no, not every person who identifies, you know, as Republican or conservative is a hateful, horrible person. I don't believe that. But I can see where now, especially in the current cancel culture, where they may feel like they can't say what they believe
without anything just being microscoped and turned into something that it wasn't. Look at Meghan McCain. I'm sure she's like canceled every other week. I'm sure she said something randomly offensive. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I tend to hear, I hear what you're saying. I really, really do. It's hard to, because like you're saying, we're so liberal, it's hard to really hear that conservative argument, but just to put it on the table, you're like, oh, wow. Putting myself in your shoes.
Meghan McCain, for once in my life, like I agreed with something she said. She was talking about the vaccine.
Okay.
Oh, people are so worried about getting like chips put in them, and that we're gonna get, you know, tracked. She was like, honestly, she's like, I would put a whole iPod in my shoulder just so I can go to the bar again. Like, she was like, whatever. Like, and I was like, girl, you get it. Like, you.
I know. Wow, I need to watch this because I mean, team her. I completely agree.
I saw it on TikTok, I think.
Obsessed.
And that's where everybody gets canceled now. Like TikTok decided they were going to cancel Eminem not too long ago for
what?
Yeah, Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna. Because of the lyric where he was like, I'm going to tie her to the bed and set the house on fire. And that's another thing. Like, are we looking at because that's a song about toxic relationships, and it's essentially storytelling.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor of what could be.
And it's not like he wasn't talking about Rihanna
actually doing that,
hating that kind of relationship. Rihanna obviously willingly did the song, and it's storytelling. It wasn't, you know, reality. But they were going to cancel Eminem for that lyric. If we're going to cancel Eminem, which
use the F word and like every other song, like when you started out, what are you talking about?
I was like, oh, honey, that's the lyric. That's the lyric we're going to choose. Like of his discography.
Wow. I had no idea about that. That's like
Gen Z. And like, I love Gen Z. I teach Gen Z every single day. I think they're going to change the world. I love them. But they really do jump on that cancel culture bandwagon very quickly. Like, that's how I learned about everybody getting canceled. My students tell me.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Way to stay current. Obsessed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But sometimes after like Urban Dictionary things they say to me, I'm like,
oh my God, I'm sure. I'm a property manager, and when I take tours, the kids that are like coming in to rent apartments now, because, you know, like they're 18, 21-year-olds trying to, you know, rent an apartment. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like speaking so like a foreign language. Who am I? Oh my God. Yes. That's all I got. I got the gay lingo down, but that's it.
My kids the other day were like, but I don't know what they said, but I was like, guys, I'm so old. I don't know what you're talking about. What is this? And they're like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 31. And they were like, and I was like, oh, you all get A's for that.
Oh, like, thank you. Yeah, that's right. 24 yesterday. That's right. Thanks. No, you do look really young.
But yeah, like, and when we connected cancel culture to the Crucible, like they were like into it. Like they, you know, it really made that text relevant.
Yeah, 100%.
And
that's a great way to teach the Crucible.
Yeah. And they were like, I was like, are we in danger of this? And some of them said no. Some of them said like cancel culture is perfect and that's exactly how it should be. And then other ones were like, yeah, because it can go too far. And I mean, I get it. Like obviously with the Me Too movement, I'm a female. But people like celebrities, I'm like, oh man, him too. I liked him. Come on.
Oh.
And but also like, with separating art from the artist, like Remix to Ignition, if that comes on like a playlist or something, I'm like, oh,
I can't not dance.
I'm like, that's a bop, but I can't. Like, I gotta go. And like, and sometimes I have a hard time. Like, I love hip hop and rap. Like, it's my jam in the car, in my minivan. But
Obsessed. They see me
like, I have a hard time reconciling that with my feminism as well, because I'm like,
oh, 100%. Literally growing up listening to, anti-homosexual lyrics, I was just like, okay, literally I have no music I can like just sing out my little gay heart other than, these ballads. So it's like that in and of itself forces you to like specific genres because you don't feel comfortable in everything. So now I love that, that they're not love, but I'm so into the fact that they were considering canceling Eminem for like that. I'm like, guys, God, do you know how many gay fans Eminem has? Come on.
Yeah. Speaking of people who grew and did better, like he
performed with Elton John. Literally, like, you guys have to, I don't know. I think that
Elton John's his fucking sponsor. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, speaking of people who, like came back and was like, hey,
I'm learning and I'm understanding that artists come in all shapes and sizes and we're all beautiful.
And like, sometimes you like, and of course people can't take back what they said. Like, you can't go back in your time machine and take it back. But do people have to remain like canceled forever, or can they have a legitimate growth and apology? And I think it's
like,
but it's
let's bring it back to now in James Charles. Let's, he is being canceled, I guess, right now because of his thirsty snaps with younger children, with younger kids. It's like, look, I understand that this can come across as predator behavior, because it's predator. It's bad. It's bad behavior, point blank. But at the end of the day, James Charles is a child. We all make mistakes as children. I do think that he has done offensive things, and what he does on his personal private time, which I did not record him doing, but he recorded himself doing and thus chose to share it. So this is something, unfortunately, these are the ramifications of or consequences of what, you've chosen to do.
Exactly.
But you are so young. You do have time to grow. And I do think that the world can embrace him again. If we ever did embrace or half hug sister or whatever, the world can't accept him again, because we can learn from our mistakes. We can grow. I think there are, like, what was that one guy who, oh my God, I feel horrible that I don't know his name. Like, so sad. But like, he had sex with a whole bunch of children. He killed himself in prison. He hanged himself.
I don't know. Oh,
Epstein. Yeah. Thank you.
We hit our time limit.
Oh my God, thank God. I sounded like an idiot at that end part.
No, you're fine. Epstein.
Cancel culture, cancel culture. Lots of differing opinions here, and lots we could say. Thanks so much, guys. You were fantastic. Catch us next week for a brand new episode with brand new contributors. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at WannaCoffeePod. That's WannaCoffeePod. I'm your host, Kai, and let's wanna coffee next week. Cheers. Orange is not my new black.